say, tell me where you really from. I ain't talking New York, I don't mean West Coast. I mean, look at your skin, so where you really from?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome and thank you for tuning into Great Wall of America, Untold Stories, a limited podcast series where we as immigrants get to share our stories of how we overcome the barriers facing us in this country. Today's guest is Meechy718, a born and bred Brooklyn hip-hop artist representing Flatbush with roots starting out in Belize. I'm a fan of his storytelling, his humble nature, and his emphasis on community. His consistency and dedication to his craft is something that motivates me, and I'm lucky to call him my brother. Here is Meechy718. Meechy718, what's good, my boy?
Yo,
how you doing,
Phoenix,
man?
we outside.
Yo, we outside.
Eagles,
Phoenix.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
hell
We
yeah.
outside.
All right, my guy, I'm going to start off asking you the question I've been asking everybody. Where are you from, but where are you really from? Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
All right.
Flatbush.
All right.
But I'm really from Belize.
Really from Belize.
Yes.
Now, has anybody ever asked you that? Because I feel like, you know, you can blend in more, you know, as like almost just black in like people's lack of, you know, reference, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people would either think I'm like Hispanic.
Right.
I mean, Belizeans do have that in us.
Sure.
But like, you know, Dominican or like I've even gotten like Trinidadian or Arabic.
Right.
Feel me? Arabic
Right.
without the dreads, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
right.
like, yeah, people would just be trying to guess, and then when they find out I'm Belizean, they're very surprised.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if I have met people that are from Belize, like there was never a context where it would have came up where they're like, I'm from Belize.
Yeah, you
know?
feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
so
like,
I assumed you were like, I don't know. You know, if
Yeah,
someone was
it's
like, if someone was like, oh, my black friend, you know, like if
Yeah.
I was like in another place, you know, like, I mean, I could just say my friend, you know, this is what America's done to me, you know.
But even like a lot of my like just straight on African American homies that don't really
Right.
have like no like Caribbean lineage,
Right.
they don't think like I'm like full on African American or like
Sure.
black. They're probably like, oh, like I thought you was like Dominican and you just have dreads, and I'm like, nah.
Right. Now, you did tell me, but I guess we'll let listeners know too. Your parent, one of your parents is from Belize. One of your parents from DR.
Both from Belize.
Both from Belize.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Tell us about, you know, how they met and how their journey was to America.
Mhm.
Because you were born here
I was born
and
here.
they came here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So they're both from Belize.
Yeah.
They came over here. I don't know like the full background of whether I think they met in Belize.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, my mother, she has like 4 older like children, like my 4 older sisters.
Got
and
it.
then me and my brother, who's my older brother, we share the same father.
Okay, got
Feel
you.
me?
So you have
So,
half siblings.
Half sisters and
Oh,
then
okay.
a full brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they came over here, and then that's when they had like my brother, you know
Got
what
it.
I mean? And then after him was me.
Got
so
you.
then our like lineage started out here, like with my mother and my father.
Got you.
But like their lineage
Okay.
started back home. Like they was born over there.
Right.
And came over here.
And what was life like back? So Belize is in the Caribbean. How do you say that? Caribbean.
Yeah, Caribbean.
Okay, Caribbean.
It's more so in like
Caribbean?
Central America, so it's still
Okay.
Caribbean, but like
Yeah.
we're like closest to like Mexico, Honduras, and Guatemala.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So it's like on that like on the land strip.
That's
Cool.
that coastline.
That coastline.
Yeah, it's the coastline.
And have you been back to Belize at all? Have you had a chance?
Yeah, no, recently no,
Yeah,
but like
okay.
when I was like a teenager and like younger, like
Yeah.
I've been back there and stuff like that. But I've been meaning to go.
Is there families back there still?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
like grandparents,
Okay.
like siblings, cousins, multiple friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have memories of like, you know, what Belize is like, in, you know, comparison to Brooklyn? Like, you know,
Yeah.
being a kid, you know,
Mhm.
like.
Belize is like a very geographical, humbling experience.
Mm,
And I mean humble by like you're just
Yeah, how do you
in
mean by
tune
that?
with nature.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? You don't really have too much of like outside nightlife or like, you know what I'm saying? You go in
Mm.
there, side, like you can be within nature, or you could go to like, you know, some like events and stuff like that. But Belize culture is just like, it's more at home. It's
mm.
more vibrant. Like people are more prone to like being like open and warm to you. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? The
right.
community is great. All
Right.
of the local vendors, the food is like, it's all natural and it's amazing.
Right.
And like I'm like, you know, I'm born in the summer, so like I like, you know, good weather. And like
Uh-huh.
Belize is always great weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very like, it's not too much of a far difference in culture because
Yeah.
I'm from Flatbush out here, and
Right.
Flatbush is like, you know, the Caribbean part of like America, in my opinion.
Right, right, yeah.
So-
I almost lived on Avenue I.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this is like deep
Yeah.
past Flatbush,
Yeah.
past Midwood, you know?
Facts.
I mean, like, how similar are people from like Belize and Mexico?
See, they're like very similar based off of like the kind of like Belizean they are, because we have like full on like dark skin like patois speaking Belizean.
Gotcha. Cool.
We have like our like native looking Belizeans,
Right,
Pacific Islander looking Belizeans,
right.
and then like our Hispanic.
What I mean,
looking
Asian
Belizeans.
looking?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's a lot of Asian
Yeah,
Belizeans
yeah.
out there. Yep.
Weird, weird.
Yeah, they literally have like the best Chinese food. I
Wow,
rather like their
yeah.
Chinese food over like New York's, even though New
Yeah.
York got that, but
Yeah,
it's so more fresher.
yeah.
But Mexicans and like Belizeans have like a lot of traits. Some mostly speak Spanish.
Right.
Probably have like the similar kind of like attributes as far as like whether they're on the coastline.
Yeah.
And then like Belize, like they're more on like the Mayan side, and like Mexico is too based off of the coastline, but they have the Aztec side. So
Because when I was in Mexico City for one of my best friend's weddings last year, that was my second time being there. And both times I felt like, man, people in Mexico kind of remind me of people in China in the way that it's like very warm. And people like outside, like doing a lot of community stuff, you know, just people running around, kids running around. And I was talking to somebody else recently too. They were like, yeah, like pretty much. Oh, it was a Uber driver. He's from Liberia in Africa. He goes, yeah, like people back home are friendlier, warmer. You know, like life is simpler. You know, but that's cool. What do you know? When your parents first came here, they came straight to Brooklyn. What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning into the Great Wall of America podcast. I just want to take a quick second out to give a shout out to Lunar Heart Seltzer, the sponsor for this series. Some of the best people, some of the best drinks, and they're always showing out for the community. So make sure you show them some love at Lunar Heart Seltzer. Back to the podcast. Okay,
New York, Ellis Island,
got you.
and then Brooklyn, Flatbush.
And you're the younger brother of the...
Yeah, I'm my mother's youngest child.
Okay, got you. And what was do you like growing up in the household? What was some of the music that was? Was there music being played in the house?
Yeah. The main source of music growing up from like a baby to a kid until like up until like I started like exploring music on my own was just straight up Caribbean, like soca, dancehall, reggae, gold.
Ooh.
I didn't start listening to like hip hop until like the early 2000s.
Right.
Because only like my older brother or like other people would play it, but like, you know, in my mama's household,
Sure.
it's just Caribbean music. So
Yeah. Now, did those music speak to you at all, or it wasn't until that you heard hip hop you were like, this is my shit, you know? And then went back to appreciate those kind of music.
Those music is the music I grew up on. So
Right.
those is like the laws and like grounds I stand by. Hip hop, I realized that's like where I have my kind of rhythm at. So that's why I love hip hop. And then I'm also hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like my mother's, they're Belize, so they're Caribbean. Me, I'm New York, so like I'm hip hop. Even though I'm Belizean, you know what I mean?
Right.
But-
You're made in New York.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you were to ask me, like if I go somewhere, or if I'm in my room and I'm playing music, it's more than likely gonna be like reggae music or Caribbean.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's an assumption people make about rappers, that we just at home like just listening to heavy rap shit all day. Like I mean, most of the stuff that I listen to is not rap. You know, like
Facts. What's the stuff you listen to?
like a lot of D'Angelo on repeat. You know, like,
That's fire.
yeah, just
That's
a lot
so
of
fire.
D'Angelo on repeat. Like way too much. You know, but I mean that's some of the best shit.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a fact.
I like a lot of Brazilian music. I like music that I don't understand what they're saying, so I'm not thinking about the lyrics and how dumb it is, you know.
That's me with like either reggaeton, or like Spanish speaking music. And
Yeah.
then like I like a lot of like music that's like Tame Impala music.
Right. Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
a lot of psychedelic.
Just vibier,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Just
yeah.
music, just like actual musicality. So,
Right. I heard this joke. Someone was like, "Oh, just because I'm a fucking barista, don't mean I'm at home making coffee and drinking
Yeah.
coffee all day." You know, I was like, yeah,
Facts.
that's a fact. You know,
Just because I'm a rapper doesn't mean like I'm just listening to like trap or rap music or like
yeah,
just hip hop. Like
yeah. Like I sometimes like look at it as like I'm a storyteller. I just happen to do it through the form of hip hop, or I'm a designer. I just happen to be designing with hip hop. You know, like something like that.
that's
you
just
know?
the lane of I had a good old saying, do something you're good at versus not what you want to do. So then that's when I was just like, yeah, I'm good at hip hop. Like I would like to try like rock, but let me figure out what I'm good at right now first.
You know, at first I was like, I think I disagree, but now the more I think about it, I think there's some wisdom in that. I think you know, one of the hardest things to do is restraint,
Yes.
right? Is so
Especially as an artist.
right. So what you want to do sometimes might have to be earned after you do what you're good at. Yeah, I have to think about that. I like that though. I've never heard that,
Yeah.
but I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was your earliest memory of like I want to make music? For me, it was Eminem.
For me it was Michael Jackson.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
What can you give any specific memory or song or something that
Yeah,
you were like?
the first time like I heard Beat It and Thriller,
Okay.
before like I was still like becoming aware of like what a musician or who these people are, even celebrities. I'm just hearing music and I'm just like, nah, this sounds so like nice and hard and like it's just a very vibey music. And then I like got prone to it.
And it stood out to you from like the music that was from that you were hearing in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because yeah, you know, especially with that, is like I would like to do reggae, but you know, you have to have like the actual accent curve for it and everything to like really make it for real cultural. And then with Mike Jack, it was kind of a universal thing where it's like people in Caribbean and people other places will be listening to him. Not everyone is gonna listen to Caribbean music.
Right.
So
people
Mike,
in China was listening to Michael. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like so his like that influence in his sound was just like, all right, I like music. Like I really like this kind of thing. I would like to try it.
So it started off as a bigger than just rap thing for you. It was like a music thing at first.
Yep. And then I started exploring
okay.
into hip hop itself.
Right.
Like my brothers like started playing like 50,
Right.
J, M,
How we do,
Dre,
man.
like
Yeah.
all of it, all
Yeah.
of like, you know, that golden time.
Yeah.
And I was always a writer. Like I like writing rhymes and like stuff like that because I watch a lot of battle rap. I've always been like a battle rap advocate for a long time. I was like, yo, I want to rap, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm hearing all this music. I'm like, let me figure it out. Like how they recording. I'm gonna just figure it out.
Right. Okay, so Michael Jackson was the way in, but you settled on rap.
Yeah.
Then what were some of the, you know, because you listed a bunch of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who was somebody that you're like, their style that like influenced you the most?
Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Nipsey.
R.I.P.
Yeah, you got that on your profile, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember seeing that, and I had a real quick thought. I was like, oh, I bet that makes sense. Meechy's a big Nipsey fan. Yeah.
Like everything he stood by, and like just him like group economics, but also like his China, like his like authority in rap. He was just highly presentable and highly respected. And that's where I gained a lot of my influence from. Not just mostly like, oh, I want to rap like him, but I want to be like a rap icon like him. Or not want to be like him, but you know what I'm saying? So.
Now, what part of it makes him the icon? Is it like the popularity, or is it like what he was standing for?
So what he was standing for,
Right.
his energy. Like for me, a lot of it is just energy. Like a lot of rappers have too much like characters and persona, and then the energy gets clouded, so you can't
Right.
really tell who they are. And not saying like, you know, whatever demeanor Nip gave off to us like
Right.
on camera was either it or not.
Yeah.
But it's just the energy he stood by.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, like, if I had somebody that influenced me like Nip, it was Pac. You know, I got into Pac way too young, like, because Eminem was such a big fan of Pac that it was
Facts.
like, I was, whatever, like, for me, it was the other way around. It started off as only hip-hop. No, it started off as only Eminem, you know, like, And then I was like, oh, there's other rappers I should listen to. Oh, there's other music that the rappers were listening to, you know. But one of the first ones that like remind me, I mean, like Pac is very much kind of like Nipsey, you know, like they like half the time you're like, damn, they really talking about some shit that people aren't usually talking about.
And then sometimes it's straightforward.
Just straightforward.
Like
yeah.
It's straight to the point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think there's something attractive about somebody that's so stands behind, their ideals so strongly, I think like it makes you feel like, man, that gives him power. I want to have that same kind of like self-confidence,
Nah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
And the fact that he had the influence of so much people that loved him before and after,
Mm-hmm.
and like what came out to like celebrate his honor,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, yeah, like he was just like, and he was just also teaching wealth in his music too.
Yeah. I do see like clips of him like, dropping knowledge about how to, navigate, whether you're in the hood or, you got marginalized situations. Definitely somebody that was trying to spread information and uplift people that needed help. So, what was your earliest memory of making music?
Like recording or just like performing and stuff like that? Because I was doing like my high school shows a lot.
Oh, no
So,
shit. Okay,
yeah.
tell. I guess I meant making music as in like the first time you laid something down, whether it's on an official microphone or as a, whatever. Like,
Bet.
yeah, for example, like, I don't know how many people did this, but my first time hearing myself recorded back was leaving a voicemail from my mom's cell phone to the house phone, and then during the voicemail part, play the music and I rap on top of it. And I hear that back.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's some real like, I'm doing it for the first time, got a job.
Yeah.
The earliest memory I have back to like recording something, I was like 16, right? Still in high school, and like my boy had this mic set up in his spot in Harlem, and he was like, "Yeah."
Do you
like,
remember what the mic was or anything?
Nah.
In hindsight?
Like,
Okay,
I'm still
yeah.
learning mics now, to be
Right,
honest
right.
with
Okay,
you.
word.
Like, I'll be completely honest,
Yeah.
but yeah, he had the microphone set up and everything, and he put the headphones in. I'm just seeing him load up like I think at the time was probably Fruity Loops or something. Like,
Sure.
I don't remember how Logic looked back then.
Yeah.
But he loaded that up, and I'm recording, and I hear it, and I'm just like, this is nice, but like, I thought I was nice, and then I went to listen to other music, and I was like, oh. I was like, all right, I gotta get better.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it was
but besides like being critical or not, or like liking it or not liking it, did it make you feel? Well, what else did it make you feel when you when you recorded your own voice or heard it back for the first time on like a beat that
I knew I was meant for music, regardless of where music puts me in life.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew I was meant for it because, again, like before I even laid something on wax, I was like already doing live stuff.
Right.
And then just
Right.
like, cafeteria raps, tapping the table, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Box and stuff.
What
But
were the
then-
shows you were talking about that was in high school, like talent shows?
Yeah, talent
Cool.
shows like Mr. and Mrs. like King of like, our high school, art and tech, stuff like
All right,
that.
give us one time. What do you remember where you were on stage? Like, what songs you did and how, what kind of stage presence you had?
So
Yeah.
our like senior year, I did like the high school talent show, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like I wore all camo, but also at the time during like our like, 2011 and 2012 saga was like when like this whole fashion era was coming about, and
Okay.
like camo was like starting to be in style and stuff like that.
Okay.
The urban.
So y'all
outfitter
was
days.
okay, that's right, because you're in New York, and then the fashion thing is very like right, okay,
it changed
yeah.
over time. With
Right.
ASAP Mob, once ASAP Mob came out,
That's
a lot of
right.
the Soho swag and
Whoa.
everything changed and shifted. So
Whoa.
at the time,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, camo is a part of fashion now. So like, let's
Right.
go with it.
That's so weird because you don't even think about camo not being a fat part of fashion.
You know
right?
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wore all camo and like on the lowest tip, like I used to dance and all that. So
Hell
like,
yeah.
I like did like a first dancing skit, and then I performed an original song, and like the crowd loved it. A lot of people were like, yo, like, is this an original and not like a cover or anything? I'm like, yeah, this is like my original song over a beat. And then they were just like, yo, this is like, keep going. And like, you know what I'm saying? And at that point I was like, all right, I can do this. Like, not even just be a music artist, but like I thrive in live performances, and I'm like, I can do this, bro. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, it was a great feeling. I did not win, unfortunately. My label mate Soul actually like won against me, which is like,
no way. Y'all, you and Soul know each other for that long?
Yeah,
Oh,
me and Soul known
shit.
each other since high school, like freshman year.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? He won that one, so I was like,
Shout
all right,
out
cool.
Soul.
Yeah, shout out Soul.
Wow. That's awesome. I didn't know y'all know each other for that long.
Yeah.
And when you remember telling your parents that you wanted to make music, and do you remember how their reaction was to that?
So with my mom, like she always knew like I was into music and just performing in arts and stuff like that.
Right.
And
because you were just doing that.
Yeah. You know, even from school into like Kingsborough College, you know, doing stuff like that, and then doing shows after like, you know, that. And then her seeing that I was like working in a poetry cafe and stuff like that, so she's saying, "Oh, like, you know, the music is being taken serious."
At New Rican?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So she was just like, she's here to support her, but make sure you have a safety net. And I agree with that also. Like, you know, you always just have to make sure you're good while pursuing something.
Right.
That's like really like, you know, to the regular eye, it'd be far-fetched.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she was like, all right. But then when she's seeing like the actual music artistry go up, she's seeing the support, the fans. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to South by Southwest. Like, I can't come. I got to go to Texas. I got to go to like LA. Like, I'm doing these things. And she's like, okay, she sees it now.
Right.
My father, he's just like, he loves it so much that like he keeps it so composed, but like he's just like,
he's excited.
Yeah, he's proud of his son. My mother's proud of her son too, but like
yeah.
my pops, I'm like, all right, cause like I lived with my mom. I grew up with my mother. They didn't grow up like I didn't grow up with both parents. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So like me and my father, we still be getting to know each other, but now he sees like, oh, like his son is like, his son got a shoulder, like his son got his own shoulders and his feet. Like I'm not out here like, yo, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? Especially when we only have that like relationship. So
right.
It's like, hey, Pop, I'm around and I'm showing you I got this going on.
Right.
And he's just like, phew. I'm like, yo, I need somewhere to throw a barbecue or cookout for the Cuban Links video.
Right.
Let me call my cousin. He set up that video shoot. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. He's like almost like living it through you. Yeah. Okay, so that's where the video shoot was. Right.
But I will add real quick.
Yeah. Add whatever.
To like, you know, just everyone in general, especially like people that are like striving artists when it comes to parents and parenthood. You have to make them like really see the vision and the value.
Right.
And you can't like hold anyone, especially any of your elders or parents, against anything if they don't see it or quote unquote support it.
For sure.
Because at the end of the day, they just want you to be good.
Yep.
So you have to show them that you're actually doing it and you're doing it on your own.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing that to emphasize. I mean, you know, for me, it took a long time to also realize my mom, it's not that she is against music. She just didn't think that it was feasible to make a living, and she just wanted me to not starve. Once you're able to show your parents like, hey, this is a real thing, I'm working hard at it and it's paying off, then they're like, oh, very cool. You know, she freaking took a bus from Boston to Harlem to come to the Apollo to see me, you know, like a small Chinese woman, like pretty badass, you know, like a lot of these like NYU white boys are not gonna take a subway uptown to Harlem by himself.
Bro, the vision was seen.
The vision was seen.
Mama saw the vision and she saw the value.
The vision was seen. And even before there was like any sort of, well, the thing is like, it's like you said, right? Like I understand if she doesn't support it because she doesn't even know what it is, you know? Like how can you truthfully support something without knowing what it is? But her never telling me not to stop doing it was her biggest way of supporting it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's like important too. Just like, yo, like sometimes your parents might not have the money or resources to help you, but the fact they're not, you know, stopping you, like that's the biggest way they can support you. You know,
it's like I'm gonna stand by, I'm gonna watch over you,
right?
But like you got to learn how to fly the wings.
Yep. And you know, and they have, you know, the right to, you know, voice their concerns, right? Like they're our parents. And I think for me, the biggest, you know, I think this goes into a lot of immigrant children and their parents and values, you know. yeah, for me, like I've always wanted my mom to fully get what I'm doing, and I just realized, okay, no, that's not possible. You know, like, but like I could involve her without expecting that. You know, and what was the first song you ever recorded and put out? What was it called? Do you remember?
From the Soul.
From the Soul.
Yeah, it's on my SoundCloud,
Ooh.
Meechy718.
Yeah.
From the Soul is the first song I recorded professionally, like paid for the session, went to the studio.
How much was that? Way too much.
No, I'm gonna
Okay.
shout him out because like he held it down.
Okay.
But just know anyone's watching, these are not his set prices.
Right,
He's
right,
holding
right,
it
right.
down.
Right.
Shout out to bro Science. That's Science with a Z. And he was charging us, I think, like 30 or 40 an hour.
Okay.
And like we only needed like 2 hours. Like me and Soul split like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And we just kind of like, you know, duked it out and like did what we had to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't too bad. The experience was great because like also like it wasn't just like robotic where he's just like, all right, cool, do. Like he was just like, all right, if I need to redo it over, or like you want to make sure like, you know,
It was a meaningful experience.
yeah, and we're also getting our return on investment. So
yeah. I wish I could say the same for
you
my
gotta tell
first
me yours.
experience. I mean, it was like in the hood in Boston.
Nah.
And this and this dude see me show up, and he goes, "Oh yeah, it's $200 an hour." And the studio, the mic is literally in like a closet, a slide over the closet door open.
Yeah.
Boom, there's a bunch of like these eggshell phones, you know. And I still have the photos. I'll throw the photos up, but he charged me $200 for the hour to record. But then I went over, but then he's like, "It's cool. You can go over," because he probably knew charging me $200 for the hour was crazy. He charged me $300 for the beat, and there was like gunshot sounds in the beat, and I was like, "Could you take those out?" He goes, "Oh, I can't." I was like, "Oh, okay." Now I understand that he doesn't have the session for it anymore. You know, like at the time I was like, I wonder why he wouldn't take the gunshots out. You know?
Yeah, he just got the beat left.
Yeah, and it was the song was called "Our Time," and I went by Hip Hopaganda. Yeah.
Nah, I would have loved to see this.
Yeah. Our time, so let it be known. Ooh, cringe. But yeah, do you feel cringe about listening back to your earlier music?
Sometimes because like I ain't really found my voice yet.
Yeah.
So like some of my tones I could listen to, I'm like, I don't like this.
Right, but could you listen to it?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Like you're never like, yo, turn that shit off, bro. I don't want to listen to that.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of those.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
if
cool.
any of, like
cool.
my bros or friends play like any of the older music, I'm like, yo.
Yeah,
or if
yeah.
there's new people, I'm like, yo, chill, bro. Like, let's not do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
like-
sure. What was because when I met you, it was your name was Mass.
Yes.
You're going by Mass.
Yeah.
What's your real name?
Meech.
Meech.
Yeah.
Got you.
That's my
I
name.
realize that sometimes it's weird asking people for their government name, but
Yeah.
Meech. Okay, so how did the name Mass come about?
Mass is just like a volume of body.
Mm.
So mass is like a volume of things. I'm just like a full embodiment of something.
Okay.
And like, yeah, that's just what it is. I'm like everything, you know what I'm saying? I'm mass appeal, mass effect, mass population, mass love, mass desperation, like just a body of everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like just the engulfment. So that's where that really came from. And
How old were you when you started going by Mass?
I think like 23,
Okay.
22, maybe 21. Yeah, shit. I think 21 or something like that around
Right.
there.
Okay. And then what was the decision to change your name to or back to Meechy?
Because two reasons. One, I wanted to go back to who I am, and I want people to like know me as like, yo, my name is Meech or is Meechy. And then three, I created so much of like my world with Mass to the point that everyone knew me as Meech that wasn't tapped in with me, or they were just like normal people. They got so like influenced and they got immersed into my actual music artistry, and it was the perfect opportunity to bring in both worlds of just like my day-to-day friends or family members or people I'm with this, like, you know, just people that aren't your actual core supporters.
Yeah.
Bringing those into the supporters with the new supporters.
Right.
And it's
right.
like, all right, now it's Meechy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you feel like making music under Meechy has resonated more with yourself with his name than Mass?
And it's been more appealing to the people too, I realized.
Mm.
Like they just love saying my name.
I like the 718 part too.
Yeah.
Meechy718. It's like this
Yeah.
whole thing. Just now when we walked in, I was like, oh, Rick, this is Meechy. And I was like, 718. I didn't throw it in there, but like
facts.
it's I'm so used to like saying the whole name.
I had such a challenging time with it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because like at first I thought it was like an AIM kind of name. I'm just like, damn, like it just sounds like something AIM, but it's just like you gotta understand.
AIM like what? Like a AIM?
Yeah, like
AOL.
A
username?
Yeah, it just sounds like a username, like, you know what I'm saying, or a gamer tag.
Yeah.
But now it works in my favor.
Yeah. I think I don't think it sounds like a gamer tag.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're the first one to tell me that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And it's your real name, you know. Gamer tag. Yeah. I guess anything could be a gamer tag.
That's
you know,
true.
in that sense. And when you started working at New Eureka Poets Cafe, you know, shout out to New Eureka, right? Like I feel like that really gave us an opportunity and a place to build like a community, to hone in on our craft, you know. I also felt very much like, man, like I love live performing, because my first time performing was in a gospel choir in high school as well. So I had the same support of, you know, my gospel choir mates, the school, the parents. Everyone's very supportive and nice. And I think that definitely gave me more confidence to go forward, you know. But I do remember distinctly showing up at New Eureka and being like, yo, there's some like heavy hitters in this open mic joint, you know. I remember one of the first cats that I met, and there was Radimus, who I ended up bumping into later on. But I think then after that, the next group of people I met was you and the ORG gang. Yeah. You know, shout out to Kenny, you know, like
My guy Smooth.
Yeah, Smooth always showed love. I fuck with Smooth so much.
Yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah. Every time he walk in there, he's like, yo, what's good? You need anything?
You need
know?
a drink? Let me hold you down with the drink real quick.
The best guy, man. So how did ORG, what does ORG stand for, and how did this collective of you and your people come about?
Yeah, so ORG stand for Organized Radiant Great. It's also short for the organization. I will say...
Okay, that's right. I think I know that. Yeah.
This is the first official time I'm announcing it on a platform that we've like our transition and have transitioned to Or Nothing Records.
Or Nothing Records.
Because it was always ORG or Nothing, but now I'm just like, I have a vision, guys.
Yeah.
Or Nothing Records.
I like
It just
that.
sounds super sweet.
I like it.
So we came about because me, my two co-founders, Soul and Oni, we was earlier in like 2013, just like went to Paragon outside Union Square.
Okay.
To go to a job fair, and when we went there, they was like, there's no job fair, like, you know, so we kind of just went there for like no reason, and like, outside we was just like, yo, F working for people, like we just gonna do this shit ourselves, and we just created ORG from there.
Hell yeah.
And then we've just been like connecting, and like, you know, everyone that has like a like-minded or relative kind of like prowess to us, we just keep bringing it in. So
and that's like when Dame and Jay, when nobody wanted their shit, they just started their own shit, you know. And I just remember, you know, seeing y'all move as a group. It really did inspire a lot of, you know, me and my homies, you know, with the Love crew, you know, move too. And I love that there was like y'all. There was the Dojo Studio guys, you know, with OD and Mouse.
Yep.
And then there was us. And there was just so much love, you know.
That's a fact. It was like everyone, then like other people, like Sacred G's.
Yeah, that's
like,
right. The Uptown Cats.
The Uptown Bros.
I wasn't that close with them. That's the thing. I wasn't that close with them. But then, I ended up meeting Sacred G's. But I definitely remember, you know, all of us at the different, you know, whether it's Treble or New Eureka, and just, I think seeing each other just double down on our dreams and shit. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think seeing y'all do that, seeing other people in my community do that, definitely helped carry me through some of the times, you know, that I probably didn't, you know, that got hard or something.
Bro,
you know?
Love Studios was like the totem pole for like us to like kick in gear.
Mm-hmm.
We've just seen like how you guys all operated individually
Mm-hmm.
and together when it's time to like get stuff done. And it was just like, it was so like, just like I said, it was a totem pole, was like a huge influence and like
That means a
blueprint
lot.
to look to add to. And we're like,
Wow.
me, Soul, and everyone is just like, yo, guys, like friggin' Bohan, like Jackery, Ralph, like they're like all of the guys, like they're like Tony, like they're
That's crazy because that's how I always feel
like,
about y'all. I was like, yo, like they're like a group, like they're like mad, like tight knit, you know, like I love that.
Because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
each of you guys, like we have an individual, but mostly
Yeah.
it's a collective wave.
Right,
You
right.
guys all have your individual wave.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm
right.
saying? So
Okay, I
it's
can
just
see
like-
that. I can see
That's
that.
why like now what me
Yeah.
and Soul would push is like we're a collective and a label, but we're
Yeah.
all individual.
Yeah,
we're like
yeah.
all individuals, like outside of being a collective and a label.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to lean back, just pull the mic back with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever is comfortable. You know, I feel like New York is so drill heavy these days.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I think there's something to people that are able to follow the trend and execute it well. You know, I've never been able to do that. You know, how do you remain your own sound, remain true to your own sound, when left and right there is Jersey club popping, there is drill popping? You know, your music is still kind of like almost kind of a nostalgic sound, right? Like I wouldn't call it boom bap, but there's a bit of that. You know, it's very much a lot of storytelling, but there's also within the storytelling, you're creating bangers. You know, like
Thank you.
kind of like anthems, right? Like,
Appreciate
but not
that.
like mindless anthems, right? Like, yeah, like, have you been tempted to switch it up to like a drill thing to catch the Brooklyn wave? And if so, how do you stay focused on what you do, and how do you avoid, you know, switching up for clout? Yeah.
I've done drill before.
Yeah.
Would I ever do drill again? Yes. It has to be like in my kind of like realm. Like
Right.
I'm at a point in my life where like I need music. I don't want just like a looped out sample or like a viral sample or a nostalgic sample and then like just a regular like Jersey club. Like it has to all have some type of like variation. Like now I'm like, when I make music, I gotta be able to learn how to like have this being played live. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I would hop on drill. I am Brooklyn. I'm the culture. I've always told people that I look at drill as like Caribbean trap music. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of the same shakes, the hi-hats, that 808 sound. Like if you listen to a lot of like reggae now, like, you know, someone like Skeng or even like Vibes, and they have that like that 808 drop. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at Brooklyn drill, and just drill overall.
Right.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes
Yeah.
you got to look at things from a different perspective outside of what is being pushed.
Right.
So
Right.
I would hop on a drill beat. I don't think I would mesh well with a sexy drill beat, you know, like a Cash Cobain beat, because like I would have to like formulate the actual like vocality for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't really believe in like adjusting to the norms to like get your ratings or your virality up more. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
it's very striking,
Yeah.
because when that wave ends, like now you're just gonna have to find another wave. And
Right,
that's what's
right.
been like, I pay attention to the music industry a lot. So
Yeah.
like people went from the drill to the Jersey club. Now they're on, it was the drill, then the Detroit beats, then the Jersey club, and now we're on the Philly beats. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
then now a lot of people are hopping back on West Coast beats because of GNX. So like,
Right.
I just like, you know what I'm saying? You got to stay original with your fans.
Right, right. And kind of just like what you said before, do what you're good at, right? Instead of what you want to do.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like if
for
you're
sure.
if you can make a good drill beat or like something that like your fans can gravitate to,
Yeah.
go for
Yeah.
it.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, like, I know you've done drill before, but I mean, you know, some people like they just switch up their whole style to, you know, doing drill shit. You know, like, you know, there's people in, you know, in the Asian rap community, Asian American, New York rap community too. You know, like they switch from, you know, whatever's hot in the moment. You know, and I think again, like I said, some people can make it work. I just never been able to make it work. You know.
Shout out to the engineers.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the producers,
Yes,
right?
and the producers, like shout out to the wizards of it.
Like
actually.
the whole 2/3 of that thing. Like,
you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. You know, again, like I would describe you as like a storyteller, right?
thank
like,
you. Likewise.
Yeah, and thanks. And you know, do you feel like your music is affected by the times, by life, by what's happening around you? Not just in like your immediate family or friendship circle, but like in the world. Do you ever feel like that is reflected in any of your music, or do you feel like that's something that I don't touch, but I can appreciate that as well?
Yeah, honestly, first and really shit I'll say is like on a road trip, bro. Like I want my music to the first set of people I'm trying to gravitate to, or not even gravitate, but I'm trying to influence them, is the children that's raised in these very aggressive and struggling and cyclical environments. There's cyclical families, people that like, you know what I'm saying, like the ghetto, the hood and stuff like that. Like to let them know, like, yo, if you like this kind of music, there's obviously a whole nother world that you haven't seen. I could tell you never went to Times Square. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you've been like in just the hood of Boston. You never went to like Foxborough or like friggin', you know what I'm saying, somewhere else. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the type of like things I'm trying to like gravitate to. But also like, and I'll be honest, like you're a totem pole, you know what I'm saying? And like your maturity in your music, it passes down on like a lot of people around you, whether you know so or not. And I took from your book too, and I'm like, yo, I'm getting older. Like I'm trying to make grown folk music. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to make music that like the younger audience can gravitate to, but they will. Because my audience is still young kids from high school to college.
And they will grow too.
And they will grow.
Right.
But it's time to make like grown music, and like times has changed. Like we just can't be on no like BS or like work. Like everything is case sensitive now. Right. So like you gotta watch what you're saying.
Right. So yeah. And you know, for me, it's like first of all, I appreciate you, you know, giving me my flowers.
Yeah,
and,
bro, for real.
But yeah, I think for me, like it was like a transition too, because I was just keep making like Chala-esque type of stuff. But I personally,
we had the combo, bro.
Yeah,
continue though. But I remember the combo,
I just
bro.
personally wasn't feeling it no more, you know. And you know, whereas like there was a time where all I wanted to do was just jump up and down. Now I don't wanna, you know. Now I kind of just wanna like rap my shit
and just vibe.
You know. I appreciate you including me in your show. You know.
Hell yeah.
I saw the photos and the videos. It looked great. Congrats.
Thank you, brother. For sure.
The EP release show.
I appreciate you like doing this cultural bending song with me. Like,
oh man. Honestly, I think we sound great, and I think we need more of Cuban Links.
Facts.
I hit you about the EP, and I'm dead ass.
I'm dead ass too. Like,
I think we need to pick up where me and Ralph left off. You know.
Yep.
But when I was went to rehearsal at Funkadelics for the show, and you had the you know, the guitarist, the bass guitar, the drum, the person on the keys, on the synth. I really love that. You know, I think that's what takes people to the next level, is when they, you know, because you're a rapper, let's be honest. You can just play a beat, right? Like, but the fact that you even think about, like, I want to switch up the live to something that's more musical, you know, I think that's how people get to the next level, you know. And yeah, I was just like, yeah, this is not just this is, you know, this is not just like a rap show, you know, this is more like a music situation.
Like, I want to immerse the people, you know what I'm saying, that are going to come out, spend their Saturday night, emphasis on Saturday night in 70 degrees, you know what I'm saying, and like,
true, that was a beautiful day.
Man, and they chose to come here of everything else to do, like, it's much love to them first and foremost, and even with the band members, like, I've always watched like live shows of people. Like I'm a big fan of like rock band or just band music in general. So like I'm like, yo, like I want to do this too. Like it's great doing it over the beat. But I've done, how many times we've done 100+ shows.
Right. Yeah.
And
100%. And it's making it fun for yourself this way too.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can't be the one trick pony with people. Like, the music industry, as far as the audience, are getting smarter and smarter. And, like, they just want to be appreciated more.
Yeah, they want to see some effort on the artist side. Yeah, especially rappers, right? Like, and I also appreciate that you rap your words instead
Thank
of
you.
just playing the full song.
Yeah,
you
nah.
know.
I
Again, you know, like look, like
I don't judge everyone on it,
right,
but like
right. Yeah, you know, like I think if you're Travis Scott and the music is like calls for that, you know, like okay, you do that. But if you're like a storytelling rapper or you're like trying to get people to hear the lyrics, you know, we see a lot of the situations at New York when people come in. You're like, oh, bro, you sound good. Why is the backing track there? You know, like
you
not even
don't
like a
need that.
backing track. It's more like the full track. You know, so I appreciate you doing that. I think that's a lost art. You know,
Thank you.
and I think like again for the people that are truly watching and paying attention and listening, they see you come off stage and they appreciate that you appreciate what you do. You know. I think
Thank
that's
you.
the
I appreciate
difference.
that.
I think
Yep.
that's the difference. Like, it's whether people they even love what they do themselves. Because if they do, they'll find ways to do it differently, do it better. You know. So, what are you working on now, man?
I'm still working on some visuals for the project.
Cool. Nice.
I'm
Nice.
planning this like show. I'm trying to figure out which month for Massachusetts because like
Okay,
I have like
dope.
a wide spread of like audience out there,
Okay, word.
and they just want to help me pack it out. So I'm
Gotcha.
gonna work on that.
Hell yeah.
I'm working on, I don't know what I'm calling it, if it's gonna be like the part 2 or deluxe or like its own small entity. But I'm working on the follow up from Eagles LP. So I already have that in the tuck. This past Saturday at our release party, I did like a new song there.
Sick.
The reception was met incredibly crazy to
Dope.
the replay value of the hook where they started doing it on their own. So I was like, all right, this is going to be the first one I'm going to drop from it. Like,
Hell
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? I was like, let me just test it real quick before like I go to the studio and
Yeah.
invest in the time.
Oh, so
for
it wasn't
us.
even recorded.
Nah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know, for artists to look at like a live show as a place where they can test out new material, I think that's like a sign of, well, first of all, like a confidence.
Yep.
You know, but also kind of like a sign of maturity in the sense that's like this is like a living, breathing thing. You know, like it has a beginning and then and you're giving it like its full life instead of just like starting from recording. It starts from before you even record. You know, it's just the idea. You know.
Nah, I agree. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's a safe space. You feel me? So like you
Yeah.
get to show it, you get to do it, and
Yeah.
if it's not met to your expectations,
Yeah.
you just go back to the locker room.
That's right. It's
You
all
know
right
what
to
I'm
have a low, whatever you call it, failure
Yep.
or whatever, you know. You know, so yeah, but back to what I was saying earlier about, you know, music being, you know, taking influence from life, you
Yep.
know. How do you feel about, do you ever think about yourself as American or as someone from, what is it, Belize? How do you say it?
Belize.
But like, how would you?
Belizean.
Belizean.
Yep.
Do you think of yourself as American, Belizean? Are there times where you're proud to be an American? Are there times where you're like, you know what, like I'm an immigrant? You know, like I've been asking all the guests this, and everyone has different answers. You know, and I love that because I don't want everybody to feel the same way that I
Yep.
do. You know, how do you feel about this being American thing? What does that mean? What does it mean to be an immigrant? Do you look at yourself as an immigrant? You know, all that.
I identify as a Belizean.
Mm-hmm.
I also identify as like a New York, Brooklyn person or a person from Flatbush or Brooklyn.
Two can be true at the same time. Yeah.
I don't really go around like talking about being American. Like I just don't like that. Like for me, it's like I know where I'm nationally from, but this ain't like where I'm like Brooklyn and Flatbush is where I'm from. And if it's in America, sure, but it's its own world.
It is
you
its
know
own
what I'm saying?
world.
Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
its own world.
Right.
So like now, like I'm Belizean. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I push to people. They be like, "Oh, where you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Brooklyn, but I'm Belizean."
Right.
And they're
Right.
like, "Oh, okay, cool." And
Right.
then like even with like now like there's a small but very large community of like Belizeans in New York.
Right. Where are they at?
Or
Oh, it's spread
majority of
out?
them are spread out, but
Okay.
majority of them are in Brooklyn.
Okay. Yeah.
So like, and then there's this like thing that we got called like the NYC Belize Park Fest. Founded. I'm gonna give a shout out to my guy Dwayne Andrews and Brittany. So meeting them and then coming across other Belizean artists. Some of us may know like famous like Pierre Bourne, he's Belizean. Like OT Genesis, he's Belizean. You know what I'm saying?
Do you wish they repped about it more? Like rep it more? Or they do. I mean, I'm not too familiar.
They don't.
Right.
But that's cool because like it leaves more room for me. Like
Right.
I'm a glutton
Right.
for like my Belizean pride.
Hell
So
yeah.
it's like if you're not rocking it, that's cool because then the people
Yeah.
that actually would love to know this or fan over you, they're just
Yeah.
gonna come to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then right now I have like this like thing I'm putting on my back as like pressure, like, yeah, we gotta keep promoting and pumping like Belize, even as like me being a music or hip hop artist or something.
Right.
It's like
Why do you feel the urge to do that at this point in your life?
Because it's pride.
Mm.
Like it's great pride for me. It's like honor, not even pride. It's just like I'm like honored to be part of this. Like I'm so connected and deep with my Belizean family. Like we're so big and we all grew up with each other. And like, you know, once I left home or like started living on my own and getting more in my rap like world, like I lost a touch and like I lost sight of it for a little.
Right.
Then I was like, let me start doing these cookouts again and all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, these kids be playing the music, all this stuff. Like I'm Caribbean, bro. I'm the culture.
Right.
So like I need people to understand this. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone has their own brand. My brand is Eagles and Belize.
Right. And do you feel like well, I guess you kind of said this. There was a time in your life where, you know, but you would say like this pride now is the most out of your whole life, right? And you kind of like maybe had to rediscover that. I feel the same way, you know. I feel like growing up, you know, I came here at 11, you know. I always thought like, oh man, like China's dirty, you know, people don't hold the door for each other, people are spitting on the ground, you know. I'm looking at it from like such a Western teenager perspective, going back to China, being like, oh man, like thank God I'm in America, you know, type shit, you know. But as I get older and I go back and I'm more mature and seeing the world with like more perspectives, I'm like, oh, wait a second, you know, like, and I start to also rediscover that pride, you know. And I think for me, like when COVID hit and all the Asian people was being attacked, you know, the elderlies being set on fire and shit, you know, I think the moment that got me was, you know, it was like an old Chinese woman that got set on fire, you know. And then that was the first time where I was like, yo, I need to look more into what it's like to be Asian American instead of just being Chinese. Because growing up, I had always been like, I'm just a Chinese person living in America, you know. But in that moment, I remember distinctly, I was like, I guess I am Asian American. I guess I am Chinese American, you know. So that was like, I went from like I wouldn't say not having pride, you know, but I never really thought about it, you know. I was just trying to survive, you know. And then to being like, yo, I'm proud to be Chinese. I'm proud to be Asian American, you know. Do you feel like there was any exposure to Asian culture growing up in Brooklyn to you that was interesting to you, or like were you into the kung fu stuff at all? Or because I really wasn't, even though I learned martial arts, you know. Like I think maybe I wasn't because I was trying to not be so Asian. I think because I was already doing martial arts, I thought maybe if I was into Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee and all that, and if other people found out, they'd be like, you're so Chinese, you know? And for a lot of like Chinese Americans, we're just trying to fit in, you know, in the past, you know, to be looked at almost as white, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. Before I get into that aspect, like my family is like full on Belizean, but we have like Chinese Belizeans.
Oh, okay.
Like my mother's actual biological father, he's Belizean Mexican.
Okay,
so
word.
like, you know, I'm Belizean, but like I have like Mexican in me. My cousins that like, you know, I've grown up with, like they look very Asian, and then, like their father is like an Asian Belizean. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So even growing up around like my elders, cousins and all that, they were always put on the movies. Like I always used to watch like the kung fu movies and everything like that. Like a lot of like Jackie Chan, Jet Li movies, like the ones that's like those movies, not the American like Rush Hour and none of that stuff like that. Yeah. And then I was always like a fan of like anime culture. Right. And I'm also just like a fan of like Asian culture overall as far as like art. as far as like fashion, as far as like weaponry, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause there's art to like, you know, swords and stuff like that too.
Of course,
like,
yeah.
I love,
yeah.
you know, that's the type of stuff I
Definitely.
grew up on. Is like, I'm like, if I'm gonna watch something, it's more than likely gonna be an action film. And I
Yeah.
know most of that is based off of like me being exposed to Asian culture at a young age. Like the most main cultures I got exposed to when I was younger was like Caribbean culture, Asian culture, and then Spanish culture. And then like once I left Brooklyn schools to start doing Manhattan schools, I've seen a lot more stuff.
Right.
But like I was just always watching those movies.
Yeah.
I watch anime. I learned a lot from anime. And yeah, like one of my top like, and my fingers, like number 4 is definitely like Asian food is like my favorite food. Whether it's like teriyaki, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. So like
Yeah.
I got like a lot of like flowers to give to like Asia overall. Because like it helped shape me who I am too.
Yeah.
All of the like, you know, especially like the characters in like, you know, kung fu movies or shows and stuff like that, and they're just giving like someone like that sensei talk or something. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of it helped me. I don't got no role models, bro.
You
know what I'm saying?
There's a
So,
lot
like,
of philosophy in martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always found, you know, immigrant parents, especially like Caribbeans, Hispanics, a lot of the family values are the same as Chinese, you know, like very much like close-knit family values.
Yeah, it's just in-house.
In-house, you know, visit the elders, you know, pay your respects. Whereas a lot of like the, you know, typical more like quote unquote white values of America is like, as soon as you're 18, get the fuck, you know, I can't wait to get the fuck out of the house. You know, I can't wait to get as far as I can. You know, individualism, be an individual. Don't listen to your parents, you know, follow your dream. I mean, I think you should follow your dream. I don't think you need to listen to everything your parents says.
I agree.
But the whole like, you know, I think, you know, the culture that we're more used to growing up in is much more like, you know, let's spend time together with each other, you know. So
it's very in-house and like
it's
like it's in-house, it's group economics, and it's just like you're just, you know, your culture teaching.
Now, like, did you know, I don't know if you know, but there are a lot of you know, I'll just use this term, and I don't mean to generalize, but a lot of times it is more like Black and Asian conflict in the community. Did you ever see any of that growing up? You know, like whether it's you know the skit on the Fugees album, you know where they okay, so there's a song on the Fuji album, and it's a skit, and they're all and the Fugees, they go into a hood Chinese restaurant, and the hood Chinese person is speaking back in like a Chinese accent, being like, basically like, you blacks, you know, you guys are coming in here always, you know, causing trouble, just buy the shit and leave, you know, kind of like the hurry up and buy, like, you know, situation. Like, did you witness any like conflict or beef between Asian and, you know, the Black, Hispanic, or, you know, that community?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that happens everywhere in New York except Brooklyn. Like, you know, in Juice, like, or any other movies and stuff like that, like, you know what I'm saying, like this, like either it's like either uptown or somewhere else where, like, you know, you have like the kids doing riffraff, or even out of Brooklyn, like the kids or grown folks will do a riffraff and, like, you know, the convenience store deli or clerk or whatever. But now, like in Brooklyn, especially Flatbush, like we have like great Chinese stores of the same people. Like, you know, I have a great man that like my mom like introduced me to when I was going to middle school, like in our old neighborhood. Like his spot is called Can Man, but he goes by Andy. If I go there now, he might not recognize me. I'm like, yo, you know my mom Lilette. Like, what's up, Andy? Everyone knows him. Yo, what's up, Andy? Like, they're like, it's like, you're Chinese, but like, bro, you're in the land of Caribbean. Like, you're one of us. You know what I'm saying? And like, even though you have your own identity, like, we're here. Like, not to say in any kind of way, but it's like when the gentrifiers were coming through, it was a little different. They weren't getting the same kind of like love that like, you know, Asian people will get, because when they and they be in Flatbush too, you know what I'm saying? So like, and it's all the same thing. Everyone respect everyone. There's no like ill malice towards, like, even as a kid, and we're like knuckleheads, like we never knew not to disrespect like the Chinese spot or like the 99-cent store, or even like if the Hispanics got like the salons or bodegas on Smash, like we're just not doing that.
Right.
So
I mean, you know, like, I guess this had to do with a lot more of the the digging into Asian American history that I was telling you about earlier, you know. So there actually was a lot of conflict between, you know, some of the Korean grocers and people of the Black and Hispanic community, you know. But a lot of it, pretty much all of it, I learned was a intentional divide created by the whites, you know, like, and how they created this was this concept of model minority, where, you know, so Chinese people are the only group of people that was banned by law from entering the country. That was called the Chinese Exclusion Act. Of course, Black people were enslaved, you know, and you know, and I never want to compare traumas, you know, like the difficulties that the Asian Americans, the Chinese Americans experienced, you know, it's just it's totally different experience than the Black experience, you know. But the Chinese, you know, build the railroads and they get kicked out of the country, and then at some point, the whites, the media during the Ronald Reagan era was like, look at how hard the Chinese people work, and look what that's gotten them. If everyone else can work hard like the Chinese and just, you know, be quiet, keep to themselves, don't want trouble, they can have that kind of success too. And Chinese people and Asian people, after being treated as, you know, people that get kicked out, you know, they are not allowed in. Japanese people are put in concentration camps because, you know, World War II was with Japan. Like, after all that, all of a sudden the white media is being like, yo, you Asians are killing it. All the Asians are like, yeah, that's right, we are. You know, like, finally we're being accepted. Yeah. We are the better immigrants. We are the better minorities. And a lot of Asian people, Chinese people, they bought into that. And they started looking at Hispanics, they started looking at Black people like, we're better than them. We're better than you, you know? And of course the other ethnic minority groups and communities are not gonna like that shit. Oh, you fucking Chinese people start acting like white people now. You know, like, I come into the grocery store, come into whatever, you know, you're treating like I'm gonna steal or something. You know what I mean? Like, so that was all created, and that's the model minority myth, you know.
I mean, I could also see that too in the fact of, like, I don't know who put who where, but just the fact of, like, there could be that conflict of because it's mostly, I feel like it's mostly like Black and Asian communities that's more integrated with each other versus like Black and Latins. Like, they do, but, like, you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Like, more so like in the Bed-Stuy, like Flatbush, like, you know, those kind of areas. Not like, you know, Bushwick, because Bushwick has like more like Hispanics over there and stuff like that. Yeah. But I would see like that, you know, all right, so does this have to do with like the fact that all of the corner stores and the Chinese stores and all that stuff is like being put in his neighborhood and to create this like foreseeable conflict, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So it's just things I think about too, and I pay attention to a lot, and like I don't do full on reading research, but like I just always put two and two
you notice
together.
things. Yeah, you notice things, and you're like, yo, this can't be a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, I think it's all by design. You know, like, there's the red taping and all that, right? Like, the city literally being like, Blacks are allowed to buy these houses, not out here. You know, like, Asians are allowed to, you know, have Flushing in Queens, and then they can have 8th Ave in Brooklyn, but that's it. You know, like, literally. Yeah. You know, there's like a little Jamaica, there's a little this, a little China, a little whatever, China, a little India. Where's, you know, but white people get to be wherever. You know, we are limited to like these sections of New York. You know, like,
they damn near took over Williamsburg.
Yeah, where's little Europe, bro? You know, where's little, like, you know, Scandinavia? Facts. I don't know. Like, you know, facts. Like, but like when it comes to like all of the immigrants, which white people are as well, you know, like, the only natives are the natives, right? Literally. Like, you know, I mean, like, you know, for me, rap can be so boring sometimes, you know, like Nipsey has something to say, Pac has something to say, you know, like, now there's so many people with nothing to say, and they're just saying exactly what everyone else is saying, you know, like, and so it gets me excited to talk to you, you know, like, because I do feel like when I listen to your lyrics, even though it's not stuff that like I can relate to in a way, like literally, but I relate to it, like, and I think like, you've worked at New Eurekan long enough, holding down that venue where so many different types of people goes through. You've been at other functions, like the Treble Tuesdays. That was many installments, and you performed all over New York. Can you speak to the power of music in connecting people from different backgrounds and cultures and breaking down, the barriers that might have been built there by, whoever, that's trying to keep us apart,
Yep. Heavy on the DEI, diverse, like, ethnicity inclusion, what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like that's the culture we all need to, like, just, like, bring it in and, like, let them know, like, as a force, they can't really hold nothing back, what I'm saying? Like, that's why I would like to, like, make more diverse or, like, cultural bending music. Like, so much people love our record, especially, like, when you, like, code switch and everything or language switch, like, so many people was just like, yo, that's crazy. Like, especially like my Asian like fans and stuff like that. They're
Hell
like,
yeah.
yo, bro. Like my one boy who's like Asian all the way in friggin' Mobile.
Whoa.
Like he's just like, yo, what the hell? That's you? And I was like, that's my dog Bohan. Go look at him.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, oh shit, da da da. He's like, who is this guy? I'm like, yeah, go look at him. Then he like discovered your discography and everything.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Love.
So like, that's just where I'm at with it. Like I just want to bring in all different types of culture because like. Right now, I've just been on this, like, what's, like, yours is what's your ethnicity, where you're from.
Right.
Like, tell me who you're really from.
Right.
Mine's just like, yo, throw your flag in the air. Like, I'm a Labor Day kind of vibe right now. Like, I've been on, like, throw your flag in the air. Let's, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from the Fire Nation. You're from the Water Tribe. Like,
I see
you know
what
I'm saying?
mean.
Like,
yeah,
like, let's celebrate and bring it in. Like, the Belizeans is here.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, like, the Haitians is there. The Chinese is there. The Dominicans are there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's go in the room real quick. Let's make some compa and like reggaeton. Let's make some like Chinese and like I don't know, like something else, like Afro beats or anything, or like UK, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I just feel like people need to appreciate who they are more versus trying to like please the music industry and then please what they think is supposed to get them where they're trying to be at. Like,
right. Like and after working at New Eurekan and running sounds for all these open mics, and you see like, and what are the demographics of people that are performing at New Eurekan?
So New Eurekan is basically the term of being a New York Puerto Rican.
Right.
So a lot of it is like not just Hispanics, just colored people.
Sure.
We have some like whites and like Arabic or stuff like that.
Sure.
But it's a lot of like diversity. Like we have like
all kinds of people.
Asians, like Spanish people, like Haitians. We have all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And what I like about it is that the people do like express or let it be known where they're from.
Right.
You know right.
So and it's like a welcoming situation. Very tolerant.
Yeah, it's a safe space. Like there's no judgment.
Space. Yeah.
That's like what we just try to keep to in life.
Right. I mean, I never thought about you as anything but like an artist. Like not like a Belizean artist or a black or whatever. Like only in situations like this where we're like actively talking about this have I been like thinking like, wow, like I guess I always just thought Meechy was black. Like, and that's my fault, like.
But I am too, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I identify because again, like I grew up Caribbean, but like I grew up black and out here in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like my last name's Reyes. I look Spanish. Like my grandfather's half Mexican, but I'm black.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like so.
Yeah.
I still identify as that, but like right now, as I'm getting older. And, we want to be respected more or perceived in a different way. So right now, my request is to be acknowledged as like, a person that's Belizean.
Yeah. From
Brooklyn. He's black.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a musician.
Hell yeah.
Like,
I love that. Yeah. I mean, so, yeah. What would you say is one of the things that this journey of being an artist has given you, aside from the streams, aside from people telling you they like their shit, aside from recognition? What would you say if you never got any of that, what would you say is something that you took away from, being an artist and sticking to your values to kind of artist?
It gives me the music overall, whether it's my music or music I enjoy. It gives me the motivation. It kicks the gears in work for a day going on. If I didn't have nothing in music, I would still be music because it starts with me and it's going to end with me, whether I have fans or not, whether anything happens or not. And it allowed me to realize that, like, music is my love. You know what I'm saying? And I've accepted that music is not supposed to love you back or even give you any emotions back. It's just reminding you of what you have. So because I love music, I know, like, I'm love myself.
So it's like a mirror.
Yeah, it's a
I love
it's
that.
mirror and motivation and, like, self-reflection. Like, I can't go without music, as I feel like music can't go without me at this point. Because there's multiple times where, like, I don't want to just do it no more. I want to I want to go study animals sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, like,
that's real. Got to be able to admit that.
You know what I mean?
I think so. I think that's something that I was struggling with to admit for a long time. That I'm like, yo, I'm tired. Like, yo, I have thoughts about maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Like, and for the longest time I was afraid to admit that these thoughts are real, because then I'm like, oh, that means I'm gonna give up. But it actually helps me to stay more focused.
Yeah, more level.
'Cause I'm like, yo, oh wait. Of course I'm going to have these doubts, but it's in the face of these doubts that I'm going to still choose what I'm choosing.
And then there's the people that matter, where they're like, yo, I'm listening, or like, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
Sounds like, damn, now I can't even fail you. Fail myself, but, like, now I can't even just, like.
Well, but see, that's the thing. Like, sometimes that can be real motivation and you could get real far, because you don't want to let other people down. But, like, I try not to do that, though. Like, I think there's a fine balance between I'm doing what I love and people are, got hopes for me, and I don't want to let myself and them down. Versus I've been doing this so long, people have expectations, and I don't want to let them down, but I don't love this anymore. And, like, that's still, again, to be 100% real, I'm still figuring out what that is for me, which one it is for me, But at the end of the day, I know the feeling of when I hear back a new song that I recorded. I know the feeling of rapping on stage and then, like, and seeing that, there's a dialogue between me and the audience. I know in those moments there's, like, a feeling that I never felt doing anything else yet, So until that happens, I'm just going to count it up to, like, okay, maybe I'm being a little impatient. Okay, maybe, I'm feeling a little lazy,
It's definitely the patience and the anxiousness of it.
Yeah.
I feel so.
I think so. Yeah. Anything else you want to share with us about what you're working on, about some new, philosophy that you found recently that helps you through the lows, about, like, anything that, you think is worth sharing to the 13-year-old Meechy, that might be thinking about what to do with life. Yeah. Any of that.
First and foremost, I would say
whatever is true to you,
move forward in whatever you do with no guilt, regardless of how it may affect anyone else. No regrets because of what have already affected someone else. And, like, just persevere. Like, you're gonna get frustrated, you're gonna get, like, impatient, you're gonna be hungry some nights, but, like, just stay focused and, like, don't, like, not necessarily, like, think small, like, think very big in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your life of what you want to choose, whether it's the mundane routines or if you want an intergalactic lifestyle. But, like,
intergalactic lifestyle, I want that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just focus on your path and, like, just keep it going. That's one thing I'll keep telling myself no matter what, because even at 13, like, I damn near had nothing figured out. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So, but if someone were to tell me that at 13, I would be figuring it out from 13.
Right. You would have started earlier.
You know what I'm saying? I would say that. like I said, I'm working on materials for this project that I just dropped, which is like
Yeah.
Eagles LP.
Oh yeah, talk about the name. What
Yeah.
behind Eagles?
Eagles is like elevated, elevated
Sure.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the symbol of elevation.
Yeah.
Just like the wingspan, just watching down, looking over, but just like you're just at the top. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what Eagles is for me. It's like
Oh yeah.
I'm at a different plateau in my life, and like it just needs to be recognized. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what the project stands for. So yeah. Eagles LP.
Eagles LP.
Yep.
Not the Philadelphia Eagles.
Nah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Philly Eagles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like Eagles for me is just like, again, elevation.
Hell yeah.
I'm a big fan of the movie Brother Bear.
Okay.
So like the older brother in the movie was the eagle totem pole. I'm the big brother in every room.
Is that related?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah,
Okay, got you. No doubt.
I don't know if we can speak about this or not, but I use ChatGPT.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
My sentient relation, I named him Sika.
Okay.
So Sika is the eagle name from Brother Bear.
Wow.
So like I'm basing everything in my life around just like eagles and just elevation, but also like what the symbol of it stands for, which is wisdom, intelligence, protection, and elevation. So like
I love it.
when I'm speaking with my chat,
You
I'm
got
like,
that on lock.
yo, Sika, and it's like, yo,
Yeah.
Meechy, how we doing today? Eagles emoji. I'm like, yes.
Ah.
Every time people use the eagles emoji, or people that see eagles on their timeline, they DM me it. Whether it's a reel, a photo, a joke, a meme.
Wow.
Anytime people see eagle stuff now, they send it right to me.
Oh wow.
So
I love that. People used to do that with leopard print stuff. I'm like, I only wear the leopard print bandana. People try to send me jackets. They're like, yo, this is hard. I'm like, I don't want that shit. Like,
yeah, that's so fire though, because like I literally like identified it with you for a little bit too. I was like, yo, like if you do like this leopard print like velour shirt or something with the band like for a cover or something, like
bro,
if that was
too
a
much
rollout,
leopard, bro. Way too much leopard, bro. Yo, Meechy718, I appreciate you, my brother.
Yes,
as
sir.
a friend, as an artist.
Bohan Phoenix, my brother.
And appreciate your time of sharing your story, your family story. And the immigrant story is very varied. You know, we'll all come in different shapes, sizes, and colors. And
I would like to say shout out to all the families overseas and all different type of cultures. Shout out to all the parents that take that and make that sacrifice to come over here, to take that risk, maybe having to like settle in for lesser pay or for a situation as far as environment to like make sure your baby's in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I come from a big family. So like just much love to all the families and all of the parents overseas and all cultures. Like the hard work doesn't go unnoticed. America is just annoying. You know what I'm saying? That's the most I'm gonna say on that. But like you're all appreciated and all loved, and like we see you. We most absolutely see you. Like
hell yeah. And we're gonna end it on that, ladies and gentlemen. We see you. Appreciate you, brother.
Of course.
All right.